Hey there, horror fans. Get ready to feel the chill down your spine as I share 10 terrifying true stories you won't believe. Story 1. A young woman moved into a new apartment, but every night she heard whispers and footsteps. One evening, she followed the sounds to her closet, only to discover a hidden door. Behind it, she found a crawl space with old rusty chains. Turns out, a previous tenant had gone missing, and she quickly moved out, never looking back. Story 2. A family bought an old farmhouse, excited to start a new life. But they started noticing strange occurrences, objects moving on their own, cold spots and unsettling shadows. One night, they heard loud banging from the attic. When they checked, they found a dusty old chest containing antique dolls. After they got rid of the chest, the disturbances ceased. Story 3. A group of friends went camping in a remote forest. They stumbled upon an old abandoned cabin and decided to explore. Inside, they found disturbing paintings and an ancient book of rituals. That night, they were haunted by eerie voices and ghostly apparitions. They left at dawn, vowing never to return. Story 4. Late one night, a man was driving home when he saw a figure standing on the side of the road. He stopped to offer help, but the figure vanished into thin air. Shaken, he drove off quickly. Later, he learned that the spot was where a young woman had died in a hit-and-run accident years ago. Story 5. A couple moved into an old Victorian house. They began finding old letters in the attic, detailing the life of a woman who had lived there a century ago. Soon, the wife started having dreams about the woman and felt her presence in the house. They eventually held a séance to communicate with her spirit, and after that, the dreams stopped. Story 6. A night security guard at a museum started hearing footsteps in the empty halls. One night, he saw a shadowy figure dressed in old-fashioned clothes. He later discovered that the museum was built on the site of a historic battle, and many had reported seeing ghostly soldiers. Story 7. A woman was walking her dog late at night when she felt someone following her. She turned around but saw no one. Her dog, however, was growling. She hurried home and later found out that a serial killer had been active in her neighborhood that night. Story 8. A man inherited an old family heirloom, a clock that had been in his family for generations. Soon after, he began seeing ghostly apparitions and hearing the clock chime at odd hours. He eventually learned that the clock had been cursed by an ancestor who practiced dark magic. Story 9. A teenager found an old Ouija board in their attic and decided to play with it. Strange things started happening, lights flickering, objects moving, and whispering voices. Frightened, they buried the board in the backyard, and the activity stopped. Story 10. A couple was vacationing in a remote cabin. One night, they heard scratching on the windows and saw a figure lurking outside. The next morning, they found claw marks on the door. They later learned that the area was known for sightings of a mysterious, unidentifiable creature. Which story chilled you the most? Let me know in the comments. Let me take you deep into the chilling secrets of Blackwood Manor. This isn't just any old mansion. No, it's a place where shadows whisper and the walls hold tales of terror. Legend has it, Blackwood Manor was built in the late 1800s by a wealthy but eccentric industrialist named Edward Blackwood. Edward was known for his grotesque fascination with the occult. He held dark rituals in the hidden basement, attempting to communicate with the other side. But one night, things went terribly wrong. The neighbors reported hearing blood-curdling screams, but when the authorities arrived, Edward was nowhere to be found. Only his wife Margaret remained, her face twisted in an expression of pure terror, her eyes wide open but lifeless. Since that night, anyone who dared to step inside Blackwood Manor has encountered unspeakable horrors. There are countless reports of ghostly apparitions, cold spots, and the feeling of unseen eyes watching your every move. One visitor, a skeptical paranormal investigator, went in alone, armed with cameras and recording equipment. He was never seen again. His footage, however, was found. It showed doors slamming on their own, chilling whispers, and, at the end, a figure cloaked in darkness slowly approaching him. Locals say that if you stand outside the manor at midnight, you can hear Edward's voice chanting in an unknown language. Some claim to have seen his ghastly figure in the windows, his eyes glowing a sinister red. But the most disturbing tale comes from a group of teenagers who dared each other to spend the night in the manor. They were discovered the next morning, huddled together in a corner, their hair turned white from fright, unable to speak a word of what they had witnessed. Blackwood Manor stands as a grim reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the most unexpected places. So if you're ever in the vicinity and you feel a chill down your spine, remember, some doors are better left unopened.